Hello student, welcome you all in third lecture of XPS. In the first lecture, I have introduced you with the basic of XPS. In the second lecture, I have introduced you with the vacuum technology, which is very essential in XPS instrumentation. And in the third part, I am now explaining the sources, X-ray sources, which is used in XPS. Now, as XPS is concerned with the core electron from a solid surface. Therefore, sources used in XPS must be able to produce photons of sufficient energy to access a suitable number of core electrons level, and photons of this energy lie within the X-ray region of electromagnetic spectrum, that is referred as the X-ray photon. The X-ray used commercially available XPS are produced via X-ray tube that are from the standard sources, and then it is monochromated and named as monochromated sources and the synchrotron sources. The standard sources, as we know, when we irradiate any metal surface with high energetic electron, then there is a result of X-ray that floods the entire sample and any surrounding area in close proximity. Now in this process, the whatever X-ray generated, that are actually two types of X-ray, continuous X-ray and characteristic X-ray. But for XPS, we are interested in characteristic X-ray because these are discrete with respect to their wavelength and energy. So the continuous X-rays part are suppressed and only characteristic X-rays are explored. Now on the basis of among which energy level this transition takes place, okay, the energy or wavelength of characteristic X-ray decided, and that are named as the K alpha line, K beta line, K alpha 1, K alpha 2, K alpha 3, L beta 1, L beta 2, like this. These are characteristic of different wavelength or energy. The advantage of these standard sources is that it is of low cost and highly flexibility to change the wavelength because we can easily change the anode material. Here we can use the more than one anodes also. Therefore, the more flexibility in the wavelength selection or in the energy selection in case of standard sources. But only disadvantage is that in case of standard sources we can't control the energy spread, because in some of the cases, even though we use the single source, it consists of different lines which have a very closely separated wavelength. So most of the time they merge together and we got a broad energy spectra, or FWHM of the spectrum is very large, very wide. Okay, and in that case, if we use such a signal in XPS, then with the wanted transition, there is a probability of some unwanted transition is also takes place, and that unwanted transition in XPS in photoelectron process will give rise to some unexpected signals. So we can't differentiate the expected and unexpected signal in that case, and thus our output get misguided. Or this unexpected signal sometimes referred as the ghost signal also. Therefore, to avoid that, it is very essential the signal should be very narrow or energy spread of the signal should be small. Okay, so that is the main disadvantage, and that should be optimized. Then the in case of XPS, there is required the high photon flux to get the more number of photoelectron emitted. Okay, but in case of standard source, okay, the photon flux is very weak. Therefore, if we want a standard source, we will have to work out on increasing the photon flux and decreasing the energy spread. So in case of XPS, the standard source is not commonly used. The standard source is tailored by using the monochromated technique, that and this is referred as monochromated source. This monochromated in monochromated source, the whatever the X-rays are emitted out by standard source, that are tailored to get a more collimated X-ray beam, because these are highly defocused beams. So we need the focus ray. So it is modulated to get a focus wave, as well as the energy spread should be as small as possible. In case of charged particle, that collimations and modulation can be easily takes place by using the magnetic and electric field, but X-rays are the neutral rays. Therefore, that concept, the application of magnetic and electric field for collimation or for modulation is not work out. So there is need of another concept. So in case of the X-ray or neutral particle, the diffraction phenomena is used for collimation and focusing the radiation. Okay. Now this diffraction phenomena is used like this. In case of XPS, for the diffraction purposes, the single quartz crystal is used. Now why quartz? Because quartz is little bit inert in the vacuum atmosphere, and we know that in case of XPS there is required the whole experiment is performed in high vacuum, so required the high vacuum, ultraviolet ultra high vacuum is required in XPS. And this ultra high vacuum, the more time consuming process is development of vacuum, and the degassing is the more time consuming part. Okay, degassing means to remove the adsorbed particle from the surface of the component which is used in the XPS. So while selecting the component, the component should be highly inert so that the time required for degassing should be as minimum as possible. And the quartz is more inert, therefore the time required for degassing the quartz is small, therefore quartz crystal are more preferable. And the this quartz crystal it's when the X-ray from the X-ray tube fall on the quartz crystal. Now depending upon the Bragg's conditions, the rays are coming out or rays are get suppressed. So a particular wavelength, depending upon the geometry of anode and quartz crystal, the particular theta and particular wavelength X-rays are emitted out and other wavelength are get suppressed by the destructive and constructive interference condition. Okay. Then again the quartz crystal are made little bit the curvature concave so that the X-rays get more focused on the sample. Now in all this working functioning, okay, the geometry of anode, sample and quartz crystal play very important role. So the geometry is selected in such a way that whatever the radius of curvature of quartz crystal, the circle considering that radius of curvature, that is referred as Roweld circle. On that circle the anode and sample and quartz crystal are placed. Anode and sample on one side and quartz crystal are placed on another side. If we do this geometry, then the this all both condition are fulfilled, that is the focusing of X-ray as well as the selection of particular wavelength X-ray, therefore energy spectra spread is as small as possible. So the in XPS tube, okay, where the ultra high vacuum is maintained, okay, the quartz crystal, anode and sample are geometrically situated on the Roweld circle, okay, where the radius of circle is equal to radius of curvature of quartz crystal. So these are I have covered already this, so I skip this part. And in quartz crystal commonly used in X-ray tube, commonly used material are aluminum, silver, and this some few material Ti and chromium are also there, but they are rarely used because they are third order and fourth order fulfill the diffraction condition, and we know that these are the very big signals. Therefore, most commonly the aluminum, silver, magnesium is also used, and Ti and chromium, Cr are avoided there. Okay. Now I have skipped this part because already I have covered this. So the main advantage of this monochromated source, okay, when we compared it with the standard source, then their ability to produce a focused X-ray beam without the requirement of source being in close proximity to the sample and narrower the energy spread of resulting X-ray. Due to that, the in XPS, the whatever the standard source is used, the standard source is also accompanied with the monochromated source, and both this assembly are using for generation of X-ray. Now the synchrotron source is also more advantageous as compared to standard source because this source will create a more monochromatic and highly collimated X-ray beam, because in synchrotron the X-ray beam are originated by forcing the electron which have a relativistic speed to curve the path, and due to that diversion of the path there is occur the deacceleration. That deaccelerated loss of energy is converted into X-ray. This deacceleration is occurred by using the magnetic field, and A strong magnet is used to divert the electron from their path by using the magnetic field deflection concept, and thus due to that deflection whatever the loss of energy is coming out as a X-ray. Now this intensity of X-ray is depends upon the radius of curvature of diversion of the path, and it also depends upon, or it is inversely proportional to cube root of energy of electron. Means more is the energy of electron, then less will be the intensity, and more will be the diversion, more will be the intensity of X-ray. And this X-ray have the energy depending upon their diversion. Okay, their energy is variable from 1 electron volt to 10 kilo electron volt. So any particular energy photons we can select it by just controlling the diversion path. The advantage of synchrotron source is allowing any photon energy to be selected. We can select the any photon having the energy highly energy sharp lambda, or a monochromacity sharp monochromacity can be maintained for the photon which are emitted by the synchrotron. Then it providing a beam of narrower energy spread. This allows for improved overall energy resolution with a value of 0.1 electron volt or better, yielding a much higher photon flux per unit area than possible in standard or monochromated source. It's producing a highly collimated beam that can be focused to 0.1 micrometer through the use of zone plates, and allowing a polarizable beam to interact with the sample. Now we know that there are unpolarized and polarized beam. The polarized is more ordered beam because there is a single direction of electric vector vibration and magnetic vector vibration. So these are more directional beam as compared to the unpolarized beam, because these are various electric field vibration vector direction and magnetic field vibration vector direction. Okay, so polarization vector is along the plane of circulating electrons. Therefore, these can be produced by using the synchrotron source, which is not possible in case of standard source. Okay. The primary disadvantage of synchrotron source is that the high cost of synchrotron, because synchrotron technology is costly. There is required highly accelerated electron assembly. Therefore, the cost of instrumentation is very high, and the greater sample degradation can occur because high energetic X-rays or a photon, the greater flux of proton per unit area is generated. Therefore, this high photon flux may degrade your material. Mostly the organic sample is degraded fast. That limits the application of synchrotron source in XPS. But the higher flux per unit area and pre-selectable energy range and superior energy resolution when studying the core level emission do however make these sources of choice in research facilities examining the frontier of condensed matter physics. So in that sense, the synchrotron source is more beneficial in XPS, and it will help to generate a more accuracy in the XPS result. But in common lab level, the standard sources are used, and standard sources with monochromatic assembly, these are commonly used in XPS. In case of synchrotron also there is need of monochromacity, therefore the monochromated assembly is used with synchrotron source also, and monochromated assembly is used with the standard source also. So in this way the X-ray source play very important role, and energy spectra spread as well as focusing of X-ray are important in XPS, because that decides the whatever the energy binding energy of photoelectron coming out. If the energy spectra are broad, then there are some confusing signals we get in the XPS, and thus our data we will not get accurate data. Data will get with some unavoidable signal, some unavoidable output, and most of the time we interpret that result in wrong way. Therefore, instrumentations play very important role, and in this instrumentation, the X-ray, the source of X-ray is very important, with generating a very narrow X-ray beam and because there is a probability to get a broad X-ray beam if more than one characteristic X-rays having very close of wavelength are emitted out from the source.